All right, hey guys. Um, Hopefully I'll be back soon, but I got to take care of the family and my new baby, so I'll be back hopefully in the next week or so. But until then, you guys just hang on. I know it's obviously difficult having substitutes and going back and forth, but I still want you guys to do your best to try to learn this stuff, and it's going to be important in the long run. And I want you guys to still do well, and don't let having a substitute be an excuse for not trying your best. All right. So if you haven't been trying your best, make sure you're going back and watching all those Ed puzzles that I posted to help you get through the material and understand what to do. When I do get back, we'll do a lot of review. But just know you may have to take a test and take a quiz or something like that to before you guys actually before I return. So make sure you're on this stuff. Make sure you're trying to learn it, trying to do your best. All right. So here we go with day 10. All right. So day 10, this is all about finding that slope intercept equation, the y equals mx plus b from a word problem. Okay. So you need to basically identify the important pieces out of the problem in order to create your equation. All right. So remember that let me do a different color here. We are trying to figure out that y equals mx plus b equation for every situation. Now remember that the m, that is your slope, okay, or we can also call it the rate of change. Okay, that's what we're going to be looking for, is what's changing in the problem, because that's really that's your slope. Okay, then the b, if you guys remember, is your y-intercept. Okay, or you can also call it the starting point. You guys can write this at the top, actually make this a little smaller so it all fits here in the line. Okay, so it's also your starting point. So when you're looking for the B, you're looking for in the situation, where did this thing start? What's the beginning? What's the initial value? And to find that, you got to look at the keywords. Okay. All right, so let's look at the first one. So Brian has $50 in his savings account and is spending at a rate of $5 per day. All right, so it says Brian, and look what we have to find. So we have to find the y-intercept, we got to find the slope, and then from that we're going to create the equation. Okay. Okay. So Brian has. Okay, you got to look for the keywords. Has $50 in his savings account. So it doesn't say he's getting $50 every day. He just has $50. Like, that's what he's starting with. So boom, that is your starting point. That is your y-intercept, is 50. Okay. Then the next part is spending. Now you got to be careful. Spending means that you are losing money, right? You're not getting more money by spending. You're actually losing money by spending at a rate of $5 every day. So every day he's spending $5. So that's something that's changing constantly. And again, since it's spending, it's going to be -5. That's your slope. Okay, so now let's create the equation. So you always start with y equals your m, which in this case is -5, and then you always put x right after, and that's why it says right here, let x represent days and y represent the total money, because that's basically what your variables represent in your equation. Then you put plus 50. Okay, and 50 is your initial value or your y-intercept. All right, so let's go to the next one. Okay, so now Maria bought a plant from Lowe's that was already 14 centimeters tall. It will grow 3 centimeters every month. Okay, now it says that, and let x represent the month and let y represent the height. Okay, now you don't really need to do anything with that, but that would be important if like you're having to solve it or something and solve for x and solve for y. All right, so it says already 14 centimeters. So the plan was already, so it started at 14. So boom, there's your y-intercept. There's what you start with, 14. Then it says that it will grow, again, keyword grow, 3 centimeters every month. So if it's growing, that means it's a positive growth. So it'd be +3. All right, now you don't really need to put the plus. I'm just writing the plus just to emphasize that that is a positive growth. All right, so now y equals your rate, okay, or your slope, 3x, and you always write x right after that, because that is your rate. That's your, what is that, like the independent variable that's changing. You always want to write x right after your rate, plus your y-intercept. Okay, All right, so some of you guys are kind of getting it at this point because this is pretty straightforward. All you're doing is creating an equation with each of these situations. All right, so I start. Okay, there you go. Boom, y-intercept with 65 apples, and eat 8 apples every 3 hours. Okay, so first of all, is that positive or is that negative? All right, well, let's write down the y-intercept first. So y-intercept, we started with 65 apples. Now it says eats 8 apples every hour. So you're eating, that means you have less apples, right? So it gets negative. Now, it doesn't say just 8 apples every hour. It doesn't just say 3 apples every, it says 8 every 3. 8 every 3. Okay, so here's how you left to look at this. This is a fraction. So these ones, if I was to go back to and do these problems, this says 3 centimeters every month. So really what this means is 3/1. If I was to write that out, it's 3/1. Okay, same thing here. This is $5 per day. Okay, so per 1 day, right? So that would be 5/1. So that is essentially what your slope is, but I didn't write 5/1. I didn't write 3/1 because it's just -5, and that's just 3. But this doesn't say 8 apples every 1 hour. It says 8 apples every 3. So this is 8/3 as your slope. Now, if I was to write that out, I know I don't have my pen. I can't write this out because I'm showing you guys through a video. This would be 8/3, right? So this would be 8/3. So here, this would essentially be y equals -8 divided by 3. Now, make sure when you write your x, you put your x next to that fraction. Don't put it like under the fraction like it looks like right now. And then plus 65. So I was able to go over to Desmos so that I can kind of show you what I meant by that. All right, you want the 8/3, put the negative in front of the fraction, and then put the x right after that. Okay, so that's what it should look like when you guys actually write it out. Okay, I know I can't really type it, but that's how I would want you guys to write it. Okay, so next one, there are currently, boom, right now, this very moment, there are currently 2,183 students at Alcona Valley High School. So again, there's your starting point. That's not like it's 2,000 every day, it's 2,000 right now. And new students are arriving every day. Okay. In fact, there's an average of 8 new students registering at ECVHS every month. Okay. So registering, meaning that there are new students coming to the school every month. So they're adding those students every time they come to school, right? So first, our y-intercept is 2,183. Our slope is going to be +8. And then we're just going to write out our equation. Y equals 8x plus, what was that, 2,183 students. Okay, pretty simple. All right, next one. Okay, I'm going to do one, we'll do one more, and then I'm going to have you guys do the rest of these on your own. Okay, so Richard's mother gave him a puppy. Oh, little puppy. Oh. Okay, it gained 3 pounds every 2 weeks. Now, I know all these other problems started with the y-intercept, right? But notice this says it gained 3 pounds every 2 weeks. So that's something that's changing. That's not something that's static. Like, that's not what it started. It didn't start at 3 pounds. It's gaining 3 pounds. So in this case, we're actually starting with the slope as your first part of the word problem. Okay, so Richard received the puppy weighing 11 pounds. So again, you need to look at the words of the problem. Received, that's when he first got the puppy. He received it and it weighed 11 pounds. So boom, there's a key word right there, received, and it weighed 11 pounds. There's your y-intercept. Okay, so let's write those out. Okay, so y-intercept is 11, okay, in pounds. Then, just like that problem in number 3, it's not gains 3 pounds every 1 week, it's gains every 3. So this was like a fraction of 3/2. All right, so now we got y equals 3/2x. And remember, just like I showed you with the 8/3, make sure you're putting it like 3/2x and then plus 11. Okay, so if I was to write that out real quick, equals 3/11. Oops, not 3/2. Sorry, not 3/11. 3/2 x to the side here plus 11. That would look like that. Okay. All right. So I want you guys to finish the rest of these. Um, for you in class. And then the rest of this stuff down here, this is all review. This is like you're gonna have to, figure out how many tiles here. There's 3, then there's 5, then here there's 7. Okay, so then I'd fill in this table. Let's see. So remember that figure 0. If figure 1 is 3, and you guys might notice here that the pattern is now +2. We're adding 2 each time. Okay, so that means that the figure 0 would have had 1, right? So figure 0 would have been just 1 tile. So I put 1 here, okay, then 3. Let's see if I can get this filled in. I want. It keeps on messing with me here. Stop messing with me. Ah, there we go. Ah, 5, and so on, right? So you fill in the rest of the table, then you're going to write the equation. So in this case, y equals, remember now, first you would fill out this table. Y equals your slope, which the slope is whatever's changing. So in this case, that's +2. And let me change that color now to, I don't know, let's make it magenta. Okay, so that's your change, right? So that's what I'm going to put here. So 2x, and then plus, what is your starting point? Well, your starting point is wherever x equals 0. This number here, and if you guys remember, I always used to put this in what that like kind of bluish color. And we'll do maybe this blue. And that's close enough. Okay, so that first number that's under 0, that's your y-intercept. That's your starting point. Okay, now you would have to make the graph, and what you're going to need to do is start at 1. And I know I can't really show this. You'd start at 1, and you go up 2, right 1, up 2, right 1. And so basically on every, let's see if I can kind of just put maybe like a little circle right here, just to kind of show where to start that at. Yeah, we can do that. Okay, so, and let me copy it and see if I can get like another dot going. All right. No, I can't. Okay, so you start at 1, then you go up 2, right 1. So I'm just gonna put another circle right there, up 2, over 1. Yeah, this is like a terrible way of showing this. Okay, so then you're gonna keep on going, right? So up 2, over 1. You're just gonna keep it rolling, and keep on putting points until you can't anymore. And you guys want to get a ruler and now make a nice straight line going up this way. And that's basically what you're going to do for that next one as well. Okay. These ones, remember that you need to rewrite the equation. So on this first one here, what you're going to need to do is you're going to graph these just like I showed you how to graph this guy, right? And then, but before you do that, you have to rewrite this equation. So what I want to do here is add 3x to both sides. I'm going to add 3x here. I'm going to add 3x there. Okay, so once I do that, then I get 2y equals 3x plus 10. If you guys remember, I don't add the 3 and the 10, remember? Because they're not like terms, they're not the same type of number. And then the next thing you want to do is divide all of this by 2. So I'm going to divide 2 there. I know I can't really show the little line where you actually divide, like the little line that goes underneath. I would divide 2 there. I could divide 2 under every number. Okay, so even this one here, under the 10. Okay, so once I divide everything by 2, 2 divided by 2 is y. Okay, 3 over 2 I can't divide, so I just leave that as 3 over 2x. And again, write that as a fraction, just like I did here. Okay, then 10 divided by 2, that's going to be 5. Okay, so now I know my slope is 3 over 2. I know that my y-intercept is 5, and now you're going to graph that. Okay, so then I would start at 5, which is right here. Start at 5. Let's see if we can make that slightly smaller and make it kind of fit on the graph. You know what I'm saying? Okay, that looks better. All right, so go to 5. Let me see if I can get that first dot on 5. And then my next one, what I want to do is then graph my next point, which will be, let's see if I can get to grab this thing. It's kind of hard to grab here. Oh, come on, work with me now. There we go. So now I want to go up 3 over 2. So because that's my slope, I go up 1, 2, 3 over 2. So my next point will be right there. So let me see if I can kind of drag this over to get it right on that point. I think that's good enough. Okay, so up 3 over 2. And so now I can create my line, get your ruler, make a nice straight line. Now I could do a couple more dots here. I could go back to the starting point instead of going up 3 over 2. I just go backwards and I go down 3, left 2, down 3, left 2, and then I can make a nice straight line. Okay, so that's what you got to do on this one and the next. All right, that's it. Get all your work done. Make sure, again, you finish this page, the page before that, and this page. Okay?